to week 3 of the Douglas Report. I'm your host, Bobby Moravia, with a very special guest star today, Michael Sabon Solomon to my right, and as usual, Max Sutton to my left.
Great to have you aboard, Mike.
Thank you. It's
Pleasure to hear.
been a while now, but I'm glad to be back.
Oh, well, you're always welcome back. Demand is very high for your return. And,
Well, I think I know where we're going to start.
well, ironically, first of all, we have two members of the two first-place teams in the
That's good to
in the YMSL. Both teams 5-1, and unbelievable last week, Max, when we went on the air. No trades transpired, but there was a lot of talk.
And the talks actually went into fruition. And it wasn't just middle tier or, just swapping guys to make people happy. I mean, it did make people happy, but top talent got traded. Michael Solomon's team with Morris Shama, the Sham Wow crew. Wow, what a trade. In case if anybody was sleeping or didn't watch games, it was Jake Dweck and
Ancona.
Solly Ancona, power hitting Solly Ancona, and all-star gold glove defensive left fielder, scrappy hitter, championship winner Jake Dweck got traded to Jack Jamal's team for no other than
My good friend and happy to be teammate, David, I should say, Triple Crown
Power hitting.
Farka.
power hitting David Farka.
Sabon Sanity days.
From Scared Hitless.
That's right.
Sacred
Hearts. That's right. And don't forget a big defensive piece they got in that trade, solidifying that infield. I think that's one of the key reasons they pulled the trigger. Aside from getting the big bat, Nathan Batesh, who locks down third base. I've been with him for 3 years in a row now. He's a great third baseman.
How did you feel the first time he kicked the ball from third to first?
So it does, Michael's job does get a little bit harder because, as you know, as Michael mentions, Nathan's a vacuum. He will pick up anything. He'll stop the ball with his face, but he doesn't have the strongest of arms, and you're going to have to scoop the ball. Were there some second thoughts? I heard some murmuring after you split. I mean, of course, it was your team's first loss.
Right.
I don't bring up names, but I did hear some murmuring. Were there some second thoughts and some doubters is the question.
Listen, there's always going to be hesitation and I don't want to say second guessing, but when you have a 4-0 team, most would say don't fix what isn't broken. I mean, you probably weren't even entertaining any.
So I was 3-1, and a couple of people offered me deals, very, very sexy deals.
Right.
And I didn't take them for that reason. There's a chemistry. The team likes each other.
I hear you.
Did you rock the boat is the question.
I don't think we rocked the boat. I think for the long term, we had a chance to pick up a former MVP and Triple Crown winner and
David Farka.
And a game changer. Okay, maybe last week he didn't go 8 for 8.
He has 2
home runs.
There was nerves. I mean, you're coming.
Especially playing against a team that he just traded.
That's true.
Yeah. So we did not worry about
Ironically, I heard it was unintentional, but I heard Ralph Hannon hit him.
Yeah, so
his first time at the plate. First pitch.
Ralph was a little frustrated. He hit a 400-foot bomb, and I was right there to appeal at third and have him thrown out.
Oh, we'll get to the game.
For missing third, but that's
according to Allie, that was SY Salesman.
Well, yeah. Haber actually was texting me in between pitches and said, "Get this guy off the bases." But
Michael swears he missed third, so I don't know.
Getting back to the trade, I just want to say something. It was one of the hardest decisions as an organization that we've ever had to make, that I've ever been a part of. With all the talk and trades, we were giving up not only 2 great players, but a lockdown left fielder who was performing.
Yeah.
And he was our leadoff guy, or number 2 guy.
Right. Every week on the show, we've been talking about Irwin and Jake running around the bases. That's what we keep bringing up.
Right. And I'm telling you, the amount of back and forth that our team had via phone and text and meetings and emailed, yes, no, do it, don't do it. Not that we didn't think it was a great deal, but it was hard to give up Jake.
Okay.
But in the long run, and Kona, but in the long run, for the greater good, the guy who could maybe make the most impact to a team on a big at-bat in a game-changing, season-changing scenario would be Farka.
Okay.
More than anyone else involved in this.
I think why second guessing came into play was because you played them, and I heard Jake Dweck made some incredible defensive plays in left field.
I might add, 3 of them were on my shot.
Your bats, okay.
Literally robbed me of 2 homers at least.
Yeah, he comes in on the ball,
Maybe triples.
and he's maybe triples. Maybe 20 years ago it would have been a home run.
I thought that trade when I first saw it was a perfect trade for both teams. I thought first of all, Farka needed to change the scenery. Jack had to change the makeshift.
And Jack got his
and he not only did he I thought Jake and Fark is a wash to me, giving up a little offensively, but defensively I think Jake's
Fair
a better
enough.
fielder.
Right.
But I think the guy who benefited the most, Ancona, was a great short center fielder last year for
Jack's
Jack.
team, right?
He was struggling at third base. He wasn't going to get there with Braca there. So he was back in his old position, and he played unbelievable.
And not only that, the truth is Jack's team, I saw them week 1. They got a lot of talent, but the back end of their lineup was a little weak.
Yeah.
Nathan Batesh is a scrappy hitter, but he's not a threat at the plate. And Ancona, last year in the playoffs and World Series, he's got pop.
Yeah.
He's a threat at the plate. So that's why the trade made sense.
Yeah,
and
that
that's why,
was
guys,
a great trade.
that's why both sides.
He was in a million offers, Jack, and every team, all the A7 teams were.
Now, that was the only trade that went down. The trade deadline
It
is
didn't
still
even happen yet. So
right. Trade deadline is still
3
Friday.
days left. Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Still a lot of talk. Let's go into that game. Well, first things first, a lot of talk I heard. Well, Ralph Hannon going into the game was down 3-0, and the Jack Jamal team, 0-4, I may add, didn't roll over, didn't quit, came back. I mean, you were there. I heard Joey Ashkenazi had some day.
Oh my God!
I heard the ball was coming over. I thought they checked his bat. I heard
he was.
They thought it was corked. Oh my goodness!
He got around good on.
He was in on 2-0.
3 pitches and he just crushed them. The wind was blowing out very deep, but he hit them down the line bombs.
He was killing the ball.
I'm saying I'm 50, 60 feet over a very deep Farka.
Field, the Farka playing.
But
and
I might add,
goes back.
I don't
right
care
on
who was out there. No one was making
play.
It wasn't errors. It was
just
bombs over.
Now, Tuna, first thing he told me after his games, Max, I wasn't on my best game today. He was the first to say it. He goes, you and Bobby nassed me. You opened the show last week talking about I'm the guy, and I didn't throw my best 2 games. He did tell me that. But credit to the opposing team, who was desperate. They came back, won a game. What was the final score? 7-5.
That was 7-5, but they were down.
So
but
they were
there
down
was
and
2
they came
things.
back.
Joe Eshko was revitalized,
Right.
obviously. He's a different guy.
Playing great.
And another guy was Joe Chira, who was at the field
Oh,
at
really?
6:30 in the morning.
He kind of looked just like you right now. The guy came in with a full beard, a yarmulke, gefilte fish hanging out of his back pocket.
He used
I don't know where this
prayers.
whole aura came from,
But
but
it worked.
it was working.
He's been learning with Rabbi Asher twice a week.
Rabbi David Asher from
David
the
Asher.
Ethiopian Union of Jewish Studies.
He's been locked in. God bless him. So
a shout out to my good friend Nehemiah Katz.
yes,
I know you did that.
Yes,
but I
yes.
believe there was a bris recently.
No,
There's
there's
no
Inshallah,
bris.
God willing, the baby
They
has to
probably
be healthy.
they can't find a chainsaw big enough to perform the miracle.
For the record, the baby is whiter than both of our children.
Get out of here.
Yes, it's 100%.
And
yes.
are we having a paternity
Yes.
test? Dougie Beebe's probably driving his truck in circles right now, wondering what the hell happened. Probably thanking God that the kid came out white. Right.
Well, thank God Natalie's healthy. Mabruk, and we're looking forward to the bris before we know it, hopefully.
Yeah,
He's looking
I mean, was
forward to
supposed
the
to play, ended up playing. But
ended up playing. We'll get to that. He was unbelievable, but we'll get there.
all right, so
Well,
now
I would say Joey Eshko was the big shout out, 7-5. The big question was game 2.
Yeah.
The score was the same, 3-0. Your team was up.
Let me backtrack 1 second.
Go ahead.
Ralph pitched excellent. We were up, we had a lead, and we usually have been closing those games out. There was one inning where just about everyone but Mo Shama made an error consecutively to give up all those runs.
So you're giving Tuna a little credit.
I'm giving him credit. They're hitting him very hard. We're supposed to make these plays, but it just got contagious, and we literally gave up runs, and the wheels just came off in one inning. And
I heard there's a couple of bad throws.
Throws,
it happens. Like you said, it gets contagious. But the big question they had was on Marty and Jack, because Ralph was down 3-0, and as you mentioned, Ralph Hannon was pitching well, and they pulled him for Max Yedid.
Oh, what inning was that? In the middle of
the middle of the game, right?
The second game. Yeah.
Now, Max Yedid, we know is an all-star caliber pitcher. Made it to the World Series. Do you pull Ralph Hannon in that spot where they just won the first game? It's a close game. They're not down 5-6-0. It's 3-0, and he was pitching well. What do you think? Were you happy they pulled him?
Well, listen, I understand Jack's mentality here. His plan, his hope was to win one game here.
Okay.
And I think he saw that Hannon pitched well. They got the win. Hannon did his job. He was hitting the ball like a beast.
Yeah, I heard he was ripping.
And I think he felt that maybe 3-0, he could come back, but maybe he thought, put Yedid in, give him a little
play. So you said they felt a little cozy they won the first game.
Yeah, maybe he was happy he won, and the other guy was standing around. And, he
but
probably
he still batted. He just left the.
And you know what? The guy got a couple hits.
Oh, Max Yedid?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not taking Ralph Hannon's bat in the lineup.
Well, tell us, did you face him? Did he have anything on him? Or?
I did face him, I believe, once towards the end of the game when he came in. I believe I singled up the middle off him. But he within a week or two.
Was it like the old Max? He was
not quite yet. I could see he's a little tentative, his shoulder, but I think in another few weeks he'll be back. And I think that's what Jack's
trying to build up his stamina.
Yeah, you build it up.
So you pitch like 3-4 innings.
If they get to a point where you tell Max go as hard as you can one game and tell Ralph to go as hard, that could be a dangerous, lethal force right there.
Well, that was his whole plan in keeping Ralph Hannon and trading Tuna, was hoping to.
Right, and they needed Ralph's bat, and like you said, Ralph's.
But now, how does this affect Ralph Hannon, who's a little could be very sensitive to
Yes, it could be. If Max comes back and Max has an attitude, and it's a great attitude, it's that winning attitude. I want to be on the mound. I want to win. He's going to demand the ball. Could that bring some locker room tension? Possibly. We'll find out. I mean, they're not in the greatest situation. I know they won a game. They're still 1-5.
This is a very tough 1-5 team.
Okay.
I'm actually, listen, for what it's worth, the ShamWow organization is 5-1. We did our job. We played the 0-4 teams, and we went 5-1.
Okay, so that's great.
We did our job. But these guys are in a unique situation because I don't think ever in this league did you have a team with 2 bona fide starting pitchers.
Right.
Now, I never understood why a team didn't do that more and use one as a starter, and then if they got a nice lead, you have a fresh arm coming in as a closer with throwing off the hitter.
Most pitchers don't like it. That's what I think. It doesn't usually get done.
Yeah.
Tell A.B. Cohen you're only pitching one game. You go, hello, get out of my face.
That's a unique.
And first of all, most pitchers don't have a bat like a Ralph Hannon. So if you're gonna carry 2 pitchers that don't hit, it's like a wasted spot.
That's true. So Ralph
is one guy you can do that.
He allows you.
Yeah. You can't have A.B. Cohen and Max Yedid. I mean, it'll be like
right. That's right. That's very true. But anyway, there was a split on that field, as you mentioned.
They ended up 7-6, right?
7-6.
So did they have a shot to?
Yes, they did.
They went down 1-2.
I believe we had a 7-1 lead.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so they crawled back.
They crawled back late.
Credit to Tuna, you closed them down. When it mattered at the end.
He closed them down with their big guns coming up.
That's what I heard.
We got 2 outs, but they had 2 on, and it was 7-6, and none other but Joe Chira Sutton stepped up to the plate.
Joe Chira, okay.
And
he made out to end the game.
And he did. Although he was hitting great all day, he just hit a very hard liner to Chaim Shama, one of the top premier defenders at second base.
Right. He wanted no part of third, and now he's got second all locked up.
Before we get to the other side of Dow Avenue, your team was active last week, and they're going to be active again before the trade deadline.
You know,
5-1.
I don't think so. I think we made the moves that we had to. There's always people that we would entertain talking to and talking about. There's a lot of down and out teams right now that are looking to make moves. And if the ShamWow organization felt that we could bolster our team with another acquisition, then we would entertain it. But as of right now, I'm going to say stand pat and go into battle with the warriors that you have.
And big shout out to Jake Dweck and Soli and Kona. No sour grapes. They went to an 0-14 with smiles on their face, and they were troopers, and they're part of the bunch.
I'll tell you, I watched a lot of those games, and those guys were fun on the sideline.
Yeah, that's correct. So
they were unified this week. I think it was a whole different attitude.
And they didn't come
No.
bad mouthing Maury Shamor or Jaime. They came with smiles. So it's a big, big shout out. Guys could be upset, and they're just looking forward for the challenge, and they want to make the.
By the way, another shout out since we're doing the guy who's playing like he's 25 once again. None other than Nathan Dowell.
Oh my God.
Leading the league in hitting.
Let me tell you something. I remember at the draft when we were making the picks right in this very studio, I wanted this guy. I wanted him. We needed that veteran leadership. He's a great guy to have, and he's tearing the ball off.
I hear
you know, off the back. He's every shot is solid shots, all peppering the field.
Right field, left, yeah.
And I never realized how funny he actually was. I think the winning and the combo of him being with some of the younger guys, not that I'm
so young
young
at heart.
But I'm definitely young at heart. He's enjoying immensely our, he
likes the
committee
That's right.
going on, and I believe he had a wonderful dinner party last night in the city.
Beautiful.
That I've heard about.
Well,
you weren't
invited. We weren't there.
We came in as the cleanup crew after scrounge the leftovers.
Fair enough. Anyway, shooting to the other
so
side.
That was so a split for in that matchup. Let's shoot over now to the other side of Dow, about 10 feet away.
Right.
And we had NWO, Max Sutton's team coming in at
3-1.
3-1. Lost a game last week versus the winless Al Davis organization.
Right, going against, exactly.
And that is
say they were in disarray. I mean, I'll tell you just a quick rundown. We started the game. David Gindy was pitching well, and the final score indicated he pitched okay. 3-0. I mean, we hit the ball pretty hard.
Actually got the runs pretty early.
We got the runs up. We scored two runs in the first inning with 2 outs.
Right.
Elliot Sacker roped one, and then I brought him home. He had roped one, and he brought home Joe Greenberg he had a triple, and then I had a single to bring him home. He went up 2-0. We scored another run later. 3-0 was the final score. But I may add, 3-0 felt like after the second inning, like we were up 7-0. These guys were sleepwalking, and I was shocked. They have some ball players on the team with Al, and Jordy, and Eddie Michon, Ike Mavora, Billy Mizrahi. Our team didn't feel like they had that desperate, we have to win, we're 0-4.
I think that they probably got very intimidated by
Nathan.
I don't think Allie did. I know for a fact that Allie was looking forward to showing what he's made of.
Allie had a lot of walks on the day.
Intentional or not?
Not really, no. I mean, I think he has like 3-2 counts. Navy wanted to throw one, striking him out type, and they were out of the zone. Allie ripped one double between short and third, and then he legged out because we played him so darn deep. And then he got one other hit. Maybe it was on an error that I made, I think.
Actually, the best start they had was in the first inning. I think
of the second game. That was the second.
The first game.
Oh, the first game. Yes.
That cool,
first game.
It was baseball.
Right. It was second and third.
And Eddie Michon was
Eddie Michon hit a 1-inch shot.
So nothing related to Nemi or anything like that. Or his child.
1 inch.
His white child.
Lewis pounced up like Molina and threw him out, and there was a big discussion whether that should have been fair or foul. Right. And Eddie went into if the lines were done right or not right.
Protest the whole
right. It didn't work, but that was the biggest.
That was the biggest threat after that.
Navy game 1. I don't think I got a ball, and I don't think now I got a. I know for a fact my left fielder didn't get a ball in game one. Elliot Saka, who's playing right field for me, he got a lot of action. And Eli Harari, his first game at second base, played great, hitting wise too. He hit great, got a lot of action. And Steven Batesh at first, without exaggeration, I'd say on the day maybe got 10 to 12 hard ground balls. So the balls go to that right side a lot.
Hard to get around.
Hard to get around. Swinging hard.
I don't think he had a strikeout in game one.
He had, well, maybe not in game one.
Yeah.
But now the back end of this lineup did have some trouble. So what's hard for these Eddie Michon's team here is if the back end's not going to do anything and you get one or two guys in their meat not to hit, then they're in trouble.
Right.
So we went up 3-0 and we won 3-0. Game two, we out of the gate again scored 3 runs. We won 3-0. But they shot right back. They got bases loaded, nobody out on all errors. I think I bobbled one. There was one bad throw from an infielder on our team. They ended up loading him up, and Eddie Michon got the biggest hit on their team. Nice rope to right field. Then they got 2 sac flies. It was 3 up, but after that, I think our team just seemed like we scored on will. Their infield defense was very shoddy. Whether all around, their infield defense was not as good. Players that usually make good plays didn't have great days. This kid, Salo Sharabi, just to say, he's got one of the strongest arms I've ever seen.
He's got about 3 or 4 assists already up there.
If he could hone his arm and do something, he could, because he threw the ball over the fence and almost killed a 3-year-old walking to the bathroom. Holy cow, that thing really crazy speed. But unfortunately, they're 0-6, and they're in disarray. What biggest thing of the game, we won 4-3. Talk about power. Steven Shalou, who is just out of this world. I think he was player of the week, right? This week, one of the two. He hit a shot, dead center field in Dow Avenue, over the benches. Ali, you see Ali looked like a midget running because he was running so far, fell running for the ball, and you see it going 20 feet past the benches, a 3-run homer. That put us up 7-3.
That was it.
Once that happened, it was the 4th inning. You saw their heads all, even the guys that wanted to make that comeback, pulled himself down. Eddie pulled himself out of the field. Ike Mavora did as well. They're 0-6. They're in disarray. They have parts. David Gindy can pitch. They have parts, but I don't know when you're 0-6. The last 0-6 team to make the World Series was Code Red.
Yeah.
It was Red Nestor on the mound with Mo Shama. Do I see this team making a World Series? I'm not making any bold predictions here, but they're 0-6. Say what you want about it. They're not in good shape.
They're obviously, I guess everybody's expendable this week. And,
I hear. Now, they faced my team, which I feel is a strong team, Navy. They faced A.B. Cohen.
Yeah, they got
They went against the 2 hardest pitchers in the league.
And they
faced you guys, and they faced another 5-1 team.
The combined records of the teams they played is very good.
They faced 3 very strong teams.
So the teams they have left, they could potentially win some games.
And as how many times did we say it last week on the show? The 2 teams ahead of them, they didn't play.
Yeah.
And the 2 teams ahead of them are 1-5.
Right.
So if they just sweep one of those 2 teams, they're in the playoffs.
I got to tell you, I spoke to Ali today. He's still got a great attitude.
That's great. I mean,
still says we're not out of
they're
it.
not out of it.
If
they sweep Jack Jamal's team or the other 1-5 team, well, I don't know what's blanking. Maybe it was the other 1-5 team.
Maurice
Haber's team. They're in the playoffs. So all these 3 teams at 1-5 and 0-6,
listen, they
have to have their heads up. Now, next week, I know Billy Miz is missing. That could be a little lost for them. They're going to have to navigate around that. But we'll get to that when we get to the predictions. But good luck to them. They were gentlemen. A little bit, we had some back and forth early in the game. Not so friendly words.
Would you like to name names?
I don't usually like naming names. But there was some, attitude flaring up back and forth in the beginning. But at the end of the day, everybody shook hands. It was 2 good games. Obviously better on our side. But I wish them luck the rest of the way. I love their teammates. Eddie Michon, you can't get a bigger class act. So I hope they do ride the ship. And,
unfortunately, this week they probably go against the hottest team in the league. Now we'll talk about that when
we'll get there. Is it Davey Saka? That's the sleeper team. Let's go to them.
Actually, before we go, we're going to have a word from our sponsors. This episode of the Doug Less Report is sponsored by Abe's Original Jerky by our very own Abraham Haber.
Oh, I followed on Instagram. Gets me starving at 2 in the morning.
Actually, he was gracious enough to give Moses a bag to give to the studio, and this is all that's left right now. So, but Moses said they are unbelievable, delicious, and you like them spicy, and
love
call
it.
Abraham for.
Rumor has it he hand cures them with our old Edmund Dweck deer carcass hunter extraordinaire.
Delicious. I've seen him do it in his own kitchen. I've seen it, and it really does look delicious.
No,
Maybe if Haber continues going on this streak, he should probably take a full-time job curing meat in Brooklyn somewhere.
Well, Abraham's on the
Actually, Abraham Maurice combined 2 and 10. So
right. I was about to say he's on the 1 and 5 team, but
Uh,
a team that felt good. Let's shoot over.
yeah, let's
now
shoot
to,
over to Fireman's Field. By the way, what about a shout out to the grounds crew?
Yes,
that-
what a
Excellent.
job!
Excellent.
And the crazy rains on Friday. I mean, we had a few inches of water out on the field, and Saturday it turned out to be a nice day, but the fields were
They were gorgeous.
excellent.
They weren't just playable; they were in great
Yeah.
shape.
So
They really
special
were.
shout out to them. All right, so let's start out at Fireman's Playground, where you had
Great matchup.
Fake News, A.B. Saka's team, and versus
Come on.
the
A.B.
Cyclones coming in.
So
and,
this was a great matchup. I gotta say it. I said it also before. I underrated A.B. Saka's team.
I think we all did.
When I
think
saw them
anybody
on
was high.
paper, I said, there's good players, but I just felt meh. Like I did it. And at the end of the day, they got a long lineup, and they got a really good defense, and they got A.B. Saka on the mound. So, and they showed it. They're a sleeper team, right? Actually, they're the team that everybody's talking about now.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else, I know they're only 4 and 2, and there's other guys 5 and 1, but A.B. Saka's team turned a lot of
And
heads.
don't
this week.
forget, he was missing a full week.
Right.
Yeah, he missed
So
the
they're
first week.
4 and 2.
And they were very fortunate to split that week.
Right. They split against my team. 2 nice games we had. And this week, going against A.B. Cohen's team, I heard A.B. Cohen's team, they were missing Joey Cohen.
Joey Cohen, big loss,
Okay, it's a
very
loss.
big loss. I mean, that Ruby Saka, I think, held his
I heard he
own there.
filled in very well at third. But Joey Cohen's a bat now. He got
Yeah.
to kick it in.
Yeah.
So they didn't miss a bat, but still, they have a strong team, A.B. Cohen.
I don't think,
in the
to
league.
me, AB did not look anything close to himself. I don't know. He seemed to be
I
bothered.
heard he
had-
was under the weather.
Tooth was falling. I don't know what he was.
Yeah, no, I heard even
Some
before.
issues.
It wasn't like giving an excuse or reasons after
Yeah.
the game.
This is A.B. Cohen.
A.B. Cohen, the pitcher, I heard was under the weather Saturday night. He had a problem with his toe. He had a toothache. He had a
Yeah.
fever, but he's a
He
gamer.
probably didn't want to see Jeffrey Saga
Oh,
the next night.
I hear that. So he ended up seeing A.B. Saka, a cousin, I guess. And they played, I guess, game 1, I heard, was a high score, right? A.B. Saka's team ended up winning 9-5, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a 9-5 game. Shout outs. And I mean, the game 2 was the game to be talked about. Really, that's what I heard. But A.B. Saka's team, like we mentioned, is a long lineup. The hitting star.
Yeah, there's no easy out. There's
no
no
easy out.
There's no superstars, but there's no
Correct.
easy outs.
We know Henry's a great hitter. We know Salim's a great
That's
hitter.
another guy who's
And-
reborn in Salim.
Yes,
He's a
Salim's
different guy.
playing, man. Oh my! And I hear he's lights out at third base, better than ever. He's always good, but better than
Yeah.
ever. And like you said, they're a long. Zach Ashkenazi grew into a superstar.
Yeah.
He was always getting there. He's there. The only question mark on the weekend I heard Roditi did not have a great fielding day. Heard he had a bad day in left field defensively. Maybe coming back from his injury. And Nemi Katz, 5 for 7.
Yeah, we weren't even sure he was showing up.
Yeah, he was 5 for 5, and he made out his last 2 times up. But Sonny Shalom and company on the team told me that Nemi killed the ball. He was ripping the ball like that. He could do whatever he wanted with it. They're playing the shift. He was hitting into the shift, in the hole, and he's not the fleetest of foot. So, you know, when Nemi gets a hit, it's real.
Yeah.
No bobbles.
He's got tremendous power.
You got to play him deep, and he
And,
hits it hard.
and he could go opposite
Yes.
field.
Yeah, he goes to the left center a lot.
He's
Another
hitting
guy
it
who's
hard.
playing great, which is a big surprise, is Teddy Ashkenazi.
I heard he had a couple of big
Found
hits.
a position in right field also.
Right. Good for
With
him.
Roditi's injury, they were forced to put him in there. He's playing great.
He's holding his own.
And Zach, I got to tell you, but Zach Ashkenazi, he's been coming for 3 years already. The first couple of weeks of the year, he drives from Massachusetts
that's the
on
truth.
Saturday night.
Really?
He's a diehard, and
Wow.
he did the same thing this past week. So
I heard he
very
played
special player.
shortstop early in the day because Henry,
Henry,
couldn't be there
Yeah,
because
he was
it
a
was
little late.
It was a funeral. And he
He
played
started
short.
out to the fourth inning.
He started to the 4th inning. I heard
Oh, wow.
he played well. And Teddy Robb played center. And Teddy
Oh.
Robb's a great outfielder. This kid.
Teddy Brown's
And I heard he
been
hit well as well. I heard he had a very good hitting day on A.B. Cohen. Ralph Matute
Another
gets
guy.
the biggest.
Another guy.
Because, I heard he had the biggest game tying hit.
He also came in the fourth,
And-
fifth inning. He
He
was at the
did?
same time.
And I heard he had the sack fly to take the lead. The only tough hitter on the day on AB's team, I heard Jody LeBeau's had a very rough day at the plate. He hit into a double play that he could have won the game. He's usually money. Against my team, he's hitting the ball hard every time up. He's usually a great hitter. But game one, they took it away. Game two went to extra innings, right? It was 2-2.
Yeah.
And it went to extra innings, and A.B. Sacker's team ended up winning 3-2. And it was Ralph Batut, sac fly, and great win. And they're a team that I'm happy I saw already. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because, I mean, typical A.B. Sacker teams that get stronger as
Always,
the season
as it
gets,
goes. And A.B. pitched well against our team. But, I don't know who they see next week. We'll see. But
it's funny. We always talk about, every time you mentioned it earlier, A.B. Sacker teams, nobody really gets excited about when you see them in the
they figure it out.
Where he drafts and where he
and he has a good, he picks a good chemistry.
He picks a very, very
like
good
people knew that Henry A.B. thing was a little bit oil and water.
Yeah, but Henry's on cloud nine right
That's
now.
it. They love each other now. Now they're having dinner together.
But everybody on the
hugging,
team,
so
everybody on the team is just a great camaraderie there. So,
so it's great.
They're going to be a tough team.
And again, like Henry looked great at the plate last year. He had a rough it in year. I mean, he picked it up in the World Series and playoffs, but he looked great when I played him, and I heard he looked great the other day. Again, they really look good. They're a complete team that definitely could do damage, and something you shouldn't
not take lightly.
Don't take it lightly.
Lightly once again.
Correct.
Let's shoot over to Fireman's East, and that we had the winless Blue Jays versus the to me surprising 3-1 Big Ball Brand.
Big Ball Brand. I thought every single one of them was wearing $450 pairs of sneakers.
Oh, really?
On the field.
On the Big Ball Brand?
Big Ball Brand, yeah. They all bought the sneakers. That's what I heard.
That's how much they are.
That's how much he's charging. $450.
Oh, what? He came out already, those sneakers?
No, they're coming out, but he's charging $450.
I know, I heard about that. Yeah.
I don't know that. But off the bat, the Jeffrey Sacker Maurice Ava team, again, is a desperate team.
Yeah.
It's a team I believe in.
I still think they're a very good team.
I keep saying
out of all the 0-4 teams, I felt they were the best.
Yeah, I agree. They had a lot of talent. The back end of their lineup, people are questioning, but they got a lot of stars. With Johnny and A.B. Cohen and Jeffrey on the mound.
See, here's the problem. That's a very talented team. Very. They got a great pitcher, won the World Series.
Right.
They got Haber. They got Jimmy. He's leading the league in hitting. They got John, but they got into a deep hole early. And by the time they climb out of this, John is going to be
away,
eating tahina and playing with Kibbez on Ben Yehuda Street in a month's time. So
that's in the playoffs, so they got to get there first.
Right, but I'm saying that's providing they even climb out of this hole.
Okay, so it's a hole.
Right.
I mean,
it's not really a hole because there's
two other teams.
Right. One of those teams is getting in.
And they didn't play any one of those other teams, as we keep mentioning.
So actually, right now, if you think about it, tied for the last playoff spot.
That's correct. It would be a playing game.
Right. They were tied for the last playoff spot.
Now, game one, I heard they won big.
9-1.
9-1. And I heard a lot of chirping on Maurice's side. They said since Mikey Shalom lost 30 pounds, it was like the CC Sabathia situation. Right.
Speed.
Maybe he lost speed on his pitch. He's 30 pounds lighter. Let's rip him again. We scored 9 runs on Mikey. I don't know if Mikey heard them, but I heard game 2, he shut them down. That's what I heard. He came out and pitched great.
Well, I think they quickly took a lead in the first inning. I don't think they scored.
So Big Ball Brand didn't score much on the day.
No, they
scored 1 run in the first game, or maybe 2, I think.
Yeah.
It was 9-1 and 9-2. Game 2, they scored 4 in the first inning,
right.
And that was it. So Jeffrey pitched great. Jeffrey had 1 bad inning on the day. Maybe his defense. I heard he pitched great. Big at bat in the game, from what I heard, was there was 2nd and 3rd at one point with Bubba. Bub Jamal was batting 5th in their lineup, and I heard they walked him intentionally. And A.B. Dweck came through with a rope extra base hit. 3 runs came home. That was a major hit in
Is that the first game?
I think it was in the first game that like opened it up. That was like a big part of the game. But
a huge day by Eliezer. Huge.
Hitting wise.
Day. Yeah,
oh, nice.
Played great.
Now,
the co-player of the week also.
Jack Abadi's teams, they're not going to roll over. Down 9-1. I'm sure Dr. Abadi and Jack, they rallied the troops. And again, they scored 4 runs in the first inning. And what was the final score?
4-3.
It was a 4-3.
Yeah,
we saw it on Instagram the last out.
Yeah.
There may have been a runner in scoring position too. And Mikey flew him out to end the game. So big win, big comeback win. after losing game
Yeah,
one by
so
the big
4-2,
ball
they're
brand.
right up there. And
Jeffrey's team, a couple of the players on their team came to our field afterwards, and they all said, "We should have won two. We should have won two." They all had that feeling. I guess when you win the first game 9-1 and you lose the second game by 1, they had that vibe. But credit to Big Baller Brand, they're 4-2 now, right?
yeah,
Are they?
4-2.
So they're tied with AB Sacker's squad at 4-2. Looking
I mean,
good.
there's credit to the Blue Jays. They have not been getting blown out. They lost a one-run game to
Right.
Cyclones.
All right, even the
7-6.
game they lost today is only
Yeah,
1-1.
so I mean, they're really in every game, and it's just
So they're
the
out of the
offense
lower,
has been struggling.
out of the lower teams. They look like the better ones of the lower teams right now.
I mean, they're all going to be tough. They're all fighting for their life. But I'm going to say the Jack Jamal team.
You think it's the scariest?
Yeah. I mean, not just because we split with them, but I just felt like they had a very well-rounded team. They were in the games. They fought back. They were very hungry this week. They had a lot to prove.
Yeah, I think the addition of Ancona's bat really helps them. I didn't see that, and they have the extra bat in their lineup, which is big.
Not only that, he's also playing great short.
He's a good defender. That's right. Short center is big for them.
And Jake's a great left fielder, and Joe Cheers. So I mean,
They added some spunk to their team with the trade that they needed. So
and if Ralph Hanna continues to hit like he's been hitting,
he could. He did it last year.
He's a major bat.
He's got pop. He's got a lot of pop. He did it last year on my team. He batted over a 500. He went on a 5-week stretch where he was the best hitter in the league. He goes hot and cold, but when he's hot, don't pitch to him. He's a rough out.
As long as he touches the base.
As long as Michael's not in the field against him. Michael's watching with his
swears
eyes.
he touched it with like 2 feet. He swears.
Man, after him, and he fell on the floor, flopped, made like a
not just flop. When they got the relay ball and Mo Shama threw literally a strike that went under Ralph's body.
Underneath him.
He was laying on the ball basically, and the catcher did not bother to move the jump. He just stood by the plate hoping the ball.
When you see a guy like Ralph, 6'4", 250 pounds,
you're not going near him.
It looks like a big whale.
Right. And he got up, dove on home.
Yes, it's funny. It's a play that all of us on the other field saw.
Yeah.
We heard the rock.
They were going crazy,
but
I clear as day, saw him miss, and I said appeal, and the
he did it instantaneously.
He said no question he missed it by a lot, not by a half an inch, because he'd give him.
And where was he? The ump was near the base.
This was a solo shot, so the ump. All he could do was watch him run, and he followed. He followed him around the base.
Credit to the ump. I think it was Ronnie Burns. No, Ronnie was on that.
No, it was actually the other guy.
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so good call, I guess. And it was in a crucial spot, no?
It was early in the game.
It was pretty early, but it would have given him a nice lead.
And you're right. That's momentum.
It to be a double.
Right. He gets a double. Exactly.
I'm actually getting a couple of texts, more than a couple. There's probably a couple hundred requesting right now, but the trade deadline, can we touch on that for a second?
Yes, absolutely.
Friday at 6.
Friday at 6, with all the action that's going on, with all the teams that are in the basement right now, would you consider extending the trade deadline until after this weekend?
No, absolutely not, because you don't want to get too many games into the season, and it's not fair for teams.
0-8, right? 0-8. Let's say a 1-7 team, and a 6-2 team makes a trade.
We had that one year where a team was 1-7, the other team was 8-0. They unloaded the Yadid back in the day.
Oh boy!
Threw him a bone.
Did he end up winning?
Yeah,
I think that was my old.
Remember that? That was a lot of flack for that, but it's more than enough time. And
but this week, get rolling, everybody. If you have something to do, you want to get creative. Now's the time. Talk and text. And
the problem is now, if a captain has any sort of a heart, you trade a guy from a 5-1 to 0.
It's very rough. It's very rough.
You probably won't be talking to that guy for long.
Let me just get back to that, because I'm going to say. It was extremely hard to do that. I mean, hours and hours of talking and texting, and more no's than yes. Not that it wasn't worth it. Not that we didn't want to do that to those guys. It was very hard. And we spoke to the guy, and he was so open. Like you know what his answer was? Do what's best for your team.
Okay.
And
power to them.
you know, I mean, listen, if we were 3-1 at the time or 2-2, you just do it.
Yeah.
But 4-0 is tough. But like I said,
You guys pulled the
we
trigger.
pulled the trigger, and there's going to be no regrets. We're going to ride into this, and I feel like we got a very, very strong one.
Okay. Well, only time will tell.
Yep.
Let's see. So we're gonna go into next week's matchups
Yeah.
now.
Do you have to have it? I have my.
Uh-oh. So we might have to take a commercial
No.
break. We got another commercial for the beef jerky. Regardless, there's still a couple of trades that are on the table. Even if they're not blockbusters, that could be game changers. But again, in your defense, Michael, even in trading him to an 0-6 team, that team is a game out of the playoffs.
Right.
A game out of the playoffs. And 1 week to the next week in the YMSL, worlds of things happen. Everybody talks differently. 1 week they looked at my team as you're never going to lose. Then I was yesterday's news and AB Sack is the team. Then Toon is the guy. Every week it's an evolving
It's called
league.
being fickle.
I
That
guess,
is the
yeah.
terminology.
Obviously, the big name out there is an 0-6 and probably could change the face of any organization right off the bat. Would be one Ali Marshall.
Yes. And he may have been in a couple of trade offers.
Let me tell you what kind of class gentleman we're talking about here. Not only a very good friend of mine, but of course we inquire. And like you mentioned, a stand-up guy, Eddie Michon,
He's the best.
did say I would accommodate Ali because I don't want this to
Right.
happen. But Ali would have to go and say, I want to be traded, and he would do it. He would not just give them away.
I gotta get something good.
Right, but Ali did not want to do that. That's not his
He didn't
style.
push it.
He
didn't
did
say,
not
"Get me out
even
of
bother. I mean,
But if it was done, it was done. But he wasn't
said
pushing
he's
it.
riding it through.
God
They're
bless
gonna win. They think they're going to win some games. I hope they do.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're one game out.
Hey,
I don't
but
see
For
any.
the betterment of the league, I think everybody, I mean, nobody wants to lose to them, but everybody wants some action.
Of
Nobody
course,
wants
the
to-
action's fun.
Yes.
The
that's what
action
makes
is fun.
So it makes the
the
league great.
league fun.
I can't wait for them to play one of those 1-5 teams. Let's see if it's this week's match.
All right. Unfortunately, it's not for them. But anyways,
it's not.
we have.
This was last week. Shoot.
Ill prepared commissioner.
Oh, we're okay.
Okay.
We can keep talking.
So now we got 4-2. Well, the fields will be determined in a couple of days. Fake news at 4-2 versus Al Davis.
So I gotta say, Al
It
Davis,
seems like they hit the lottery this year.
they ran into
I
every
don't know what else you could ask for.
bad
man.
matchup possible.
Maybe they could sweep the last 2 weeks of the season and go.
No, I'm telling you, the truth is that they hit.
Unfortunately, I think before the year started, they probably looked at this as an easy week that we could probably
Right,
win.
they thought so,
But
hitting
you know,
A.B. Cohen, you had to
it's
think they knew it was tough.
yeah,
Facing my team,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people thought I had a bunch of no-names on my team. Fortunately for myself, I have some young kids that could play with Navy, so they ran into a tough team. And now we just finished giving the biggest rah-rah to the fake news organization, and I can't say I think they're going to lose. Unless maybe A.B. Saka, they lock him in the bathroom and they send Henry to China. But if they have a full squad, I see fake news taking 2. I'm sorry. And Al Davis is missing Billy Miz.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just giving. By the way, I think I'm 0 on the season with my prediction.
No, we got a sweep already.
Who did I get? I didn't
Well,
know
what did we
it myself.
What do you mean? We always pick Al Davis to get swept.
You can't lose.
Okay, so for that, I guess. But everything else, I think Dr. Abadi.
Oh yeah, he
Sent
was
me a
happy.
text
Yeah,
that I
he
was
not happy
wrong.
about that.
But
I'm also picking up the sweep. I mean, it's just.
what do you have there, Mike?
Listen, that's a tough matchup for the Al Davis squad. I mean,
Poor Al Davis.
I gotta say, David Gindey, he's coming to have fun. He looked like he was in great spirits. He had a couple of very funny, quick lines as the games were going. He's competitive. He wanted to win, but he looked like he was having a good time.
He's a different David Gindey
Yes,
back in the
very
day.
different. He didn't have that same crazy mean fire. Don't get me wrong. He was on the mound and he wanted to get you out, but he was a little bit jolly. I think David maybe come with a little fire up the crew. Maybe just that could be their last David's got to come on his game if he's going to beat this team.
And
he could do it. I know he can.
Isn't he? Isn't the catcher his son?
Yeah.
So you know what? He's having a good time.
Oh, no, he's definitely is.
But
He's more relaxed.
that team wants to win. Don't
of course.
make
So
any
I think
qualms
David's got
about
to come. I know David has it in him. And when David really pitches great, he was one of the best pitchers in his day, and it's still in his body.
Old
so.
Cracker Jack teammate of mine.
You know,
man,
we said it all the time. Besides his pitching, he's a great hitter.
Oh man, he's not hitting now.
I don't think he bats. Did he bat?
He maybe got one at bat, but he's not coming really to hit. He's coming to pitch. He's not walking anybody for the most part. He's throwing strikes, but he's going to have to throw a really
Listen, that team's going to have to play defense, and the veterans are going to have to step up.
The infield defense has to buckle down 100%. When David's on his game, he induces fly balls. Like I know against that the week before they faced us, the Brooklyn Cyclones. They told me they hit a bunch of fly balls, and that's when he was on his game.
I mean, listen. Also, another guy who has it in him but hasn't been performing is Jordy Ramel. Listen, he could go 7 for 8.
He had a bomb over the left fielder's head on Sunday. It was in. We were up already by a nice margin, but he clocked the ball for a triple. It's in his bat, and he's not a skinny malink anymore. He's got some muscle on him. You're right. He has a 7 for 8 in his back. Eddie Michon is money at the plate. Ike Mavora is a feared hitter. You put him up in a big spot, he gets hits.
You might want to mention Mavora being on this team with his track record and everything. I thought maybe that might be.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it so many times.
Maybe, if anything, you trade him to Max's team or one of the better teams. And
it's a thought.
To give the guy a little break in life, you know?
Well, what is it? Do you test fate is the question. So do you trade him to one of the 501 organizations? Again,
I would love to have.
He's one of the feared hitters in the league, and he's money at the plate in big spots. But he's on again. You want to always say, was it bad luck or not? This is a team that infield defense against my team was bad, and our early runs, we got some really well hit balls. I mentioned there's bombs to center field and line drives to left center, but a lot of hits were also playable balls.
Right.
I mean, Morris Harari tailed off. He was hitting
great.
Oh
my God, he was on fire.
He was on fire. He had a tough week at the plate, from what I remember.
What was it? Now he went up against.
He went against an AB and didn't have an easy time with him, but he's playing a great field. Credit to him.
Second.
He played second. He played a little bit third. He's playing strong in the field.
And what's Michon playing?
He played third for the most part. No, he's playing third. Michon took himself out in the middle of the second game, and Morris played some third base. He played good wherever they put him.
And Mavora's playing first.
Mavora played first and short center. I think he was more comfortable at first, and he played a very good first. And then again, when it's in the middle of the second game, he pulled himself out as well. They have pieces. I keep mentioning it. They have pieces. They have Allie in center. They have.
You know what? They just got to get one freaking win under their belt.
That's it. You get one, you get comfortable.
You know.
You get one, you get two. It's
Listen,
not
and who knows? They could win the first game. Who knows?
At the end of the day, they put all their stock. They had a great team. But they put all their stock in the pitcher, and it didn't pan out.
That's why David Gindy. That's why the first thing I'm saying, he has to. If they're going to do something, he's going to have to step it up. And he has it in him, as I mentioned. I still predict fake news to win too. But sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's my prediction.
It would be nice to be wrong on that on both ends.
Okay, no complaints there.
So now the next matchup is a possible World Series matchup.
Inshallah, I'm in.
NWO with Navy.
Beg to differ.
And Navy and NWO versus AB Cohen.
This is two old foes.
Be 100% by then.
Yes, they met each other plenty of times in the other league.
Any love lost between those two?
No, they like each other a lot. They respect each other. AB Cohen at 57 years old now, 57 years young, I should say, still pitching great. Nathan's 31. He's the younger one. I don't put a prediction on my team.
Yeah. Unfortunately, once again, Cyclones will be playing without Joey Cohen.
Yes, that's true.
So that's another
that's a loss.
But a great matchup. And, you know, this is really the Cyclones probably not want to face this team coming off a sweep, because they're in a very precarious situation right now. Potentially could be 4-4.
Right. They don't want to go 4-4, obviously. They have a great defense. We didn't bring up Jackie Towell's name. I heard he played great again. He's playing MVP style.
And another guy who failed to mention. No, besides that, DK is like ridiculous.
DK, okay. That's great. But I heard the main two cogs in that lineup is Lee.
No, offensively,
they're looking great.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I think they said Nathan and JT are 1-2 in hitting.
Oh, good for that. Father-son
I
connection.
believe Mo Shama
Is awesome.
should be up there.
Oh,
I heard he's ripping the ball as well,
Ripping,
Morris.
ripping.
Yeah, I heard that.
that's a back to the old
Yeah.
veterans, but
Right.
putting against the big numbers.
Last year, Morris didn't have a great hitting year. I think he really came ready to hit. He's always fielding, so. But-
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's the best.
JT?
Morris.
Oh,
But JT too, but
JT,
from my perspective, I mean, there's not many guys
No. we know that. I call
better to hit,
I
have
call
it in
him.
front of you.
I call him the legend for a reason. And he knows
Why
how to say
don't we
it, so.
go to
But now to
our-
Cyclones WO, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go my guest host, my special guest this week.
That's going to be a very tough matchup to pick, but they're two very tough teams. I think the pitching will cancel each other out. I could see a couple of them maybe getting tired. I like a split here. I see Max winning the first game, but I see Nathan maybe trying to overpower that team a little too much.
Oh, I see A.B. Cohen and trying to.
Yeah,
No.
up him, the guys from Brooklyn coming to this league and maybe lose a little, not much. Him losing a little is probably still better than anyone else.
I mean, we could look at it, we're probably expecting a 2-1, 3-2 game.
Okay.
We might even get the high scoring game. It always comes.
You never know.
to
That's what
that.
usually happens.
I see a split. I can't see either of
Split.
these two
No,
teams.
fun. These guys are boring. But okay.
I just, first of all, like I said, it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be NW. I can't see anybody beating Navy twice. But that would be, it'd be interesting if the Cyclones 4-4 one time. Would be really
That would be very interesting.
panic mode.
I don't know about panic mode, but I hear you. They were 4-0 and they felt great. Now 4-2, but
Now,
they played two great games.
right. Now Michael Sabon's ShamWow is going up against Big Ball Brand.
This is a fun matchup because I know Ralph Sutton had this game circled from the beginning of the season. And
Well, he was actually on this team at the beginning.
yeah, but the game was still circled because he knew a trade was going to happen.
It was very short-lived.
He had it circled on whichever team he was going to be on, who's playing BBB. So that's a big part of this game. Now, Ralph, like I said, was candid that he didn't have his best stuff last week. And I know he's, like I said, he's very excited to play against these guys. He faced a lot of this crew in the playoffs last year and did win, beat him in the semifinals in a very close, fun 5-game series. But what do you think on this one, Mike? Well, Mike's not the one to predict.
Well, actually, I am, and this is also a tough team. I think both pitchers have a lot to show because don't forget we traded Mikey for
that's
Ralph.
right.
Jack did not want Ralph, and Ralph knows that. But more than the pitching matchup, I'm expecting a gigantic game from Fargo. I mean, last week, whatever we split.
He's comfortable now?
Yeah. I'm expecting a big game. I think he's going to be facing the right pitching. I'm expecting a bounce back game from Nathan.
For the record,
Cash.
last year, and you can look it up in the stats, David Farker did have a big day against Mikey Shallow on Memorial 3. I'm sure Mikey and David both would remember. I played with David last year. David did hit Mikey very well last year. I don't know year to year if things carry over, but just to throw that out there.
Right.
So let's see what happens.
A prediction, I'm going to say we win too. I'm not going to sit here and say we lose. I think it's going to be easy to beat this team? No, this is a very tough
They got
team.
some players.
They
This
got
is a very, very tough matchup.
We found out this BBB team, their youth is really – Jackie Haber
Yeah.
looks like he's coming into his own. Everybody always said Jackie's great, but he never put up the numbers year to year. It looks like he's there now.
How's Harry Frost? Still a player?
Harry Frost,
Still-
3 for 6.
Again, he's still,
Yeah, 3 for 6, playing great, hitting the ball great. And I saw him today. He's big and tall.
Yeah.
He's not even tall and
You
strong.
have Mark Bra, you still have Jacobati.
Jacobati, Harry, Carlos Sabati. There's Ruby Shalou. We're not going to forget.
Ruby Shalou.
They're a tough team.
Let's not forget leading the whole
question
thing
is there
Dr. Batty.
I didn't see them yet. Is their defense strong? I don't know. It is. I don't even know how their field is set up for the most part yet. That's a question. Mikey likes pitching. Yeah, I think he likes inducing fly balls. And you have Carlos and Jacobati out there. You can't go wrong. But this is going to be a great matchup. I'm going to be boring because I really do see a split. I do it. I'm sorry. But I see a split. I see who's going to win the first. I see Mikey and the BBB guys winning the first game. And then I see Morris Shama and Michael and company coming out strong in the second game. That's what I see.
Yeah,
If I
again.
had a game that I would want to watch, the next game would be the biggest market matchup.
Yeah.
But this would be a lot of fun just for personality.
Yeah, I
I'd
see
like
a
to
split also.
Michael on the field with Tuna and Mikey
Yeah,
Shalom,
you know.
Jacko. This is the ESPN game that
If I'm
people
not
want to do.
mistaken, there might have been an attempted chokehold on a couple of
This- I was-
participants.
I
Last
can't believe
year.
you just said this because this is the closest to WWE as it gets.
Right.
We
This
talked about
game.
last year.
Yeah, last year with Ralph Sutton and an elder statesman on the BBB organization.
Talk about pick on some of your own age.
Okay.
He's like,
But, oh boy, so this could be
yeah,
a
that's
lot
going
of
to be
fun.
good. And Mikey never a loss of.
Yes, I hope I'm on Dow and they're on the other side. That's what I'm
That
just,
is a great match.
just throwing it out.
From that great matchup to the toilet bowl matchup.
I'll tell you what, you say that, but this is probably the marquee matchup of the week.
Yeah, this
Because-
is going to be held at Coke Field.
If one of these two teams sweep, they're in the playoffs. That's why this is maybe the matchup
No,
of the
this
week.
is actually great.
Yeah.
Well, kidding aside, 1-5 Beastie Boys versus 1-5 Blue Jays.
Right, and then Michael mentioned he saw this Jack Jamal newly built team as a fearsome team now, and we keep mentioning.
I know.
this-
They're not. They're definitely not 2-1-5 teams.
Yeah,
So the
they-
record indicates.
if you watch them on the field, you wouldn't say they're 1-5 teams.
Now
like
I'll
you
tell you,
mentioned-
if a team sweeps, they're in very, very good.
Great
Great
situation
shape.
because they would have the head-to-head, of
Yeah.
course, and
And Al Davis
bury the other
is going to
team.
be yeah.
So this to me is really the marquee matchup of the week regarding standings. Beastie Boys against the Blue Jays. A split would be so boring. I would want somebody to
yeah, I don't.
sweep
I
over
agree
here.
with you. It's just it's a great matchup. Jeffrey Saka against Ralph Hannon, and both teams fighting for their life.
Yeah, the commission is going to
1-5.
make the first prediction on this one.
Oof, I'll tell you the truth. I am going to do. I do see a sweep, and I think it's going to be. I think the Blue Jays are going to pull it off.
Wow.
Wow.
So Jeffrey Saka doing what he did last year, you're saying. Starting slow and
Listen,
climbing
they
right
don't.
back
They
in there.
never get blown out. This team, so
Right,
it's,
every
you
loss
know,
is one run.
I think it's going to put it all together. They have to find an offense somehow. They're really getting zero production from.
So that's the
bottom
problem with
half
the
of the
Blue Jays,
order.
right? You could end up walking Maurice if the bottom end. I heard Bubba's hitting, which is a big
But I'm
plus.
saying, and actually, Ben Rishley gets some hits. I mean, you
Right.
know, it's just a certain lot of guys just not delivering. So, but
So what do you got on this one, Mike? You face both teams. Am I mistaken?
They're both
No,
very
you
tough.
face both.
We face both.
Yeah.
They're both very tough teams. But I'm going to say I was very, very shocked at Jack Jamal's team.
You liked it.
I like that team. That's not a 1-5 team. I think Haber's team is very good too. You got Jimmy, the guy's unbelievable. Like we mentioned,
Maybe Colin,
you
right,
got
yeah.
a team there.
Eliezer is
I
still-
don't see a sweep. I think these guys are going to kill each other because they both have to. They got to stay.
this is
Nobody here could afford a sweep.
Well, I think the
Well, it gets
Beastie
swept.
Boys. I think the Beastie Boys are going to win
To
game
get
one.
swept.
I think Beastie Boys will win game one. I really think so. I think their new spunky attitude with their new players, and they're excited. They feel like they got something new. That second game, I could see going to extra innings. I don't know who's going to win it, but I think it's going to be a dog fight as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, actually, it's pretty weird, but it is probably one of the best 1-5 matchups I've
yeah,
ever seen.
this is unbelievable. This,
I'm actually excited about this kid.
I'm telling you, if
That,
and the
that
team
should be
would-
the marquee
it
game.
is. This
Cares
is
about NWOs.
I agree. The team, if somebody sweeps here, the odds of them making the playoffs
Oh,
are very, very
low.
strong.
Right.
It's amazing to say that so early in the season, but they would have the head-to-head on one of the sellers. So, as we know, neither one of these guys played Al Davis. So it really is amazing how everybody is so in the hunt. This is a great matchup. This is one that I'm curious about the most to find out about on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the
Those
rundown.
two exciting teams. And
Again, and there could be trades.
let's not forget, we have 72 hours left, and see if, maybe they get a great offer from Michael Sabon.
I was about to say.
It might be-
I'm sure the phones will be ringing off the hook after the show. Just a couple of questions. Did you ever think about incorporating some night league games into our league to change it up, get a crowd at night?
we did that once. We
utilize-
did that once 10 years ago in Neptune.
Yes, the Burt Willis
Yeah,
fields.
Burt Willis Field.
Remember Alley
The
hit
problem
home run.
is it's extremely hard when the people aren't here yet for the summer for them to come in for the night and go back to Brooklyn.
And when it's already summer, it's already playoff time.
And you have the
Yeah,
night league.
and then the night
It's
league
like-
is running. So The question is, if you could do it early,
And you do like 3 nights in a row, and then you got one guy's traveling that was switching games. It's not so
Right.
easy to do that.
That's another thing. Sunday morning.
We did it one year. It was a lot of fun.
It was
Burt Wills has that fence.
Yeah, Burt Wills was fun for that. I remember Ali hit 2 home runs in one game. I remember that. But
They utilize that field. Nobody's even
not anymore now. Not anymore now. We use the other night field,
I know.
which is not available this time of year, actually.
Right.
Little leagues are running almost every night. So when I take it for the night league is when we have it open. So it would be a great concept. It would be a great idea. It would probably bring fans, but it's not so simple.
Well, did you like the whole Dow Avenue atmosphere on Sunday?
I like that. The fields.
A little small. I mean.
No, I think the element of having the trees there, you get a big bat like Hannon or Shalou or whoever able to hit that far. You go look at the other game to see what's going on.
You know what? Those trees right now, especially with the pitching being as good as it is in the league, you hit the trees, you earned it.
No.
Well, let me ask you, your field, you had
Nothing. Never came into play. Never came into play at all. Shalou's shot was dead center, went over the bench.
Right. So
but the rules and the trees, and we were very clear about it. And for the league going forward, it is this way. The trees are in play.
Yeah.
It's a wall. No ground rule doubles.
Right.
No ground rule triples.
Agreed.
You hit
that tree, it should be whatever you get.
If they can't throw the ball and have to underhand it in, it is what it is. Be careful out there as an outfielder. If a guy like Ralph Hannon's up, don't run into a tree a la Richie Shalom. But yes, I know. But the trees are in play in the outfield. It stops arguments.
Right.
It makes it easy and no arguments.
I agree with you. I think the pitching is too good that even Wrigley Field, they think it's a nice field. With great pitching, I think it doesn't matter.
It cancels it out. The pitching in the league right now, there's no bottom pitcher.
Right.
Everybody's a good pitcher. So, and the defense is great.
It's still early. You see some high averages, but you also see very low runs.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
base runners are maybe high. There's a lot of base runners, but people not easy to bring home runs. First and second, nobody out. Even in that fake news game this past week, I heard A.B. Saka's team had first and second 3 innings in a row. A.B. Cohen bears down when he has to, gets out of the inning.
Right.
So not only A.B. Cohen, all these pitchers are pitching really well.
I'm finding as good as the league is, as competitive as it is, I'm finding a lot of teams with very weak bottom of the orders.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen it like this. A lot of top-heavy teams.
It could be there's a lot of rookies and
they're young. A lot of young guys.
And it may be in the next couple of weeks they find their stroke.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. They're a little nervous.
Right.
They have Maurice Haber and Jimmy Malach hollering. Jimmy saying, go the other way. And Maurice saying, just hit the ball. They're a little frazzled. Maybe when they learn these guys are crazy after a while and they come up to the plate and have a good time. Maybe they'll start hitting.
It takes 6 to 7 years for one of these kids to get acclimated.
Well, sometimes a couple of weeks. I mean, I played with Michael, and I personally watched him scare 2 people away for 4 years straight. But,
actually, there's one guy, this is a true story, who struck out 3 times in the day, and his captain questioned him about it, and he said, you try hitting with Sabon chirping.
Listen, anyone who strikes out 3 times in a day should be playing Parcheesi at the local beach club instead of softball.
No, but you're right. The bottom ends of the lineup right now are to be questioned on some of the teams. Not all the teams, but on some of the teams. But like I said, there's a couple of rookies. Like even on this Al Davis crew, the Salo Sharabi.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
Able to hit.
Oh, no, he's going to be good.
I mean, seeing Nabi wasn't an easy task for him. And I don't know who else he saw. A.B. Cohen also, not an easy task.
Right.
I heard week 1 he actually hit the ball well against you guys. He didn't get on base, but I heard he hit the ball hard. So a guy like that, he's going to find his groove. Which is
he's a great athlete, first of all.
Right. He's just one in the bunch. Abraham Jamal actually hit the ball very well this past week.
Oh, he did? Oh, good.
He hit the ball hard. He had 2 hits and hit the ball hard 2 or 3 times.
Oh, good.
So
what position did he play?
Played short center and he played first base.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so there are guys in the back end that seem weak that I could see getting better. The question is it going to be too late for the teams that are not doing well?
We have a couple of nice young rookies. Sid,
Albert Sid,
he crushed triple. A leadoff triple, I might add, late in the game.
Really?
But like you said, he was stranded. A leadoff triple, and we couldn't get him.
So you got to give a lot of credit to the opposing pizza there. Whether it was Max Yedid or Ralph Hannon.
I think it was Yedid, actually. potentially.
Yeah, so that's a big jump there. So that's what we mentioned. The back end, that's kid Albertson's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
See, that kid is he's going to be a good hitter. But I do think they'll get better, the back ends of the lineups, as the season goes. And that might maybe get and as it gets hotter, the ball usually flies a little bit better as well. Right, that's what they keep talking about the Mets also. They're not getting any home runs. But as the weather gets hotter, I mean, some pitchers get a little more loose too. But as it gets hotter,
Yeah, Moses, when it gets to June, he's start getting.
He might be pitching before you know it.
He's schwitzing from Memorial Day on.
But that is something that was talked about, that the back ends of the lineup seem a little on the weaker edge now.
But again, it could be just the pitching is much stronger.
Right.
So if they
That's
really
true
have a
too.
shot. So we don't know. Anyway, this week is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the
8:30
wonderful Mother's
a.m.
Day.
start.
8:30, and wouldn't you know it, the forecast for Saturday once again
It's rain.
100% rain.
Oh boy.
Well,
That makes the field soft when they come out good, which is nice. You don't like
we'll
hearing
see what happens, but so far we're good with the weather. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you on board.
Adding insight and
He brought us suits too.
yeah. Michael also doing a lot of GM duties for ShamWow, from what I'm hearing.
Listen, I'm part of the committee. Obviously, Mo and Jaime make the final decisions, but there is a crew of us who advise. And like I said, we had a big part in this big trade, and we're going to ride it, and whatever happens, happens. We're happy with it.
I love that it happened. It just adds a little spunk to the league, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Till next week.
You got it. So everybody, happy Mother's Day, and we see you back here next week. Thank you.
Good luck. Man, that was long. You made me